What is the AFL's current view on USMCA and the work Nancy Pelosi is trying to do in the House to clean it up a little bit?
Well, it still needs a lot of work to be done. As it's currently presented to us, it's totally unenforceable. And it's unenforceable on 3 different levels. So we're working on that. We're working to clean up some of the language internally, and then we're working to clean up a couple of other issues. But we are constantly working at it, and we're hopeful that we can ultimately get there.
You know, I'm just old enough to remember the last NAFTA fight, or I guess the first NAFTA fight, when the unions were pretty down the line against it. You seem very open to it. You seem hopeful that it could actually get through with the fixes that you need on labor protection, wages, jobs, that sort of thing. Has there been a sea change among your members about the positive benefits of free trade?
No, I think there's been a sea change among the American people that bad trade agreements are bad for the economy and bad for workers. You have 70-some% of the people think that NAFTA has been an unmitigated failure. This is an opportunity for us to correct a bad trade agreement and actually make it work for working people. So we're going to give it our best. We're going to give everything we have to see if we can get an agreement that actually works for the economy, works for workers, and if we can, then in fact we'll support it fully. If we can't, then we'll oppose it.
Thanks, Rich, because I want to pivot to the 2020 race. There's been this whole notion from the Trump White House that the economy has never been better. It's historic. Certainly the stock market set record, and again today. But what are your workers feeling in terms of how this economy is treating them?
They're really insecure. Many of them hadn't had a raise for a long, long time. Their health care is under attack. Their pensions are under attack. Their children are facing a mountain of debt coming out of college, and they don't see any change coming out into the future. They believe that the rules of the global economy have been written for them to lose, and they've been losing. So they want to change those rules. They thought that President Trump would do that. That's what he told them he would do that the last time around. Unfortunately, he hasn't followed through on the promises that he made. This is a chance, at least with NAFTA, it's a chance for us to make sure that one of the worst rules gets corrected.
So you expect if these changes do go through and Nancy Pelosi delivers and the president supports those changes, you will support this new agreement and support President Trump signing it?
If we get an agreement that's worthy of the American worker and the American economy, we'll definitely support it. Getting there is still the issue, and we're not there yet.
You know very well that a lot of your members ended up supporting President Donald Trump in 2016. You actually just said, you know, a sentence that we might have heard Donald Trump say in 2016. The global economy is not working for the average working man, working woman in America. You know, how do you try to prevent that slide toward Trump in the 2020 election? And are there any Democratic candidates right now that you're looking at that you think are speaking the issues the way you would like to hear them talked about again for your members?
Since President Trump has been in office, I've tried to call balls and strikes. If he does something good for workers, I say it's good for workers. If he does something that's bad for workers, I say it's bad for workers. And I'd have to say the ledger right now, if you were balancing them out, tilts towards the bad for workers side, not the good for workers side. Now, I guess he could correct that and rebalance things. What we do is tell them the truth about the issues. And we went to every one of the Democratic candidates. We went to President Trump, and we said, unless you talk about kitchen table economics and how you're going to solve the problems of workers, you're not going to get their support. And I think many of the candidates that are out there right now are talking to those kitchen table economics about how you get health care, about how you get a wage, about how you have collective bargaining and get a voice on the job, how you make sure that we have secure pensions, how do we get a quality education, a public education for our kids before college, and then a great college system afterwards, and make it affordable for everybody. If they talk about those issues, I think the candidate that does will win the mass support, the most support from working people.
Have you formulated your plans for 2020? Obviously, the three most important states in this election are states where you have a lot of members, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. What do you expect AFL-CIO to be doing in 2020 to help Democrats get elected?
Well, it's not helping Democrats get elected or not get elected right now. Here's what we're doing. We're having the candidates, all candidates, come and talk to our members, understand what we do for a living, understand how important we are for the economy, understand how many members, how many people get educated every year by the labor movement. We educate more people every year than anybody except the military. Have them understand that, and then have them understand the issues that are important. The candidate that then speaks to those issues, those kitchen table economic issues that are important to working people, will get our support.
Rich, as you know, the president has promised to start making mass arrests this weekend of what he calls criminals, immigrants. Does the AFL-CIO have an official position on this plan?
You know, I find that very, very sad. We've begun educating workers at all of our work sites to prepare them for what may come, and we just find that whole system inconsistent with the values of America. It makes workers far more insecure. A lot of undocumented workers are forced to work in unsafe conditions and unhealthy conditions. They don't get paid properly. They get misclassified. And the employers that do that to them then bid against our solid employers, those that are responsible, and they take bids away from them. We think that everybody ought to have the same rights, the right to be a safe and a healthy place to work. And we're just hopeful that we can get through this and get a fix an immigration bill that is broken, provide a pathway to citizenship to those workers that are out there and that are contributing to the American economy every single day. These people aren't criminals. The people that are out there working on construction sites or doing gardening or 1,000 other jobs are hardworking, honest people, and they're looking for an opportunity. And to simply say we're going to eject them from this economy sort of flies in the face of the values that we've espoused to the rest of the world for a long, long time.